Hey guys, I hope you're good. So I think the last time you saw me I was painting the deck on my boat and that came out really well. However, since then there's been some other problems that have come to light with the boat, and I'll explain them all in a later video because, fingers and toes crossed, I'm going to have that sorted in the next couple of weeks or so. So it makes sense just to do a video that's got a resolution to it as well. I've also had some friends staying on the boat for the last couple of weeks because theirs has been in for blacking, so that's why I haven't made any videos. I was going to go out and do some cruising just before they came and stayed on the boat, but unfortunately I wasn't able to, and that brings us on nicely to the topic of today's video. I don't think I've mentioned it on the channel before, but at the start of 2012 I had an accident, and I wish there was a really funky cool story to it, but there wasn't. Basically I fell down the stairs at home and I broke my coccyx, and unfortunately a lot of people that have this injury never fully recover from it, and I'm one of those people. I have this chronic pain now in my back. A couple of weeks ago I had a really bad flare-up, and it got so bad that I couldn't even bend down to put my socks on. So the plans that I'd had for going out cruising had to be postponed. So I thought that it would be an interesting topic to talk to you about, because being unwell in a boat is quite different from being unwell in a house. It comes with a few more challenges. So we're going to get graphic really quickly. If you end up getting diarrhea, then obviously your toilet's going to fill up really quickly. There's going to be challenges there about being able to go and empty it. So for situations like that, you should do exactly what I do not do, and you should keep a spare toilet on your boat. And sticking with that theme, what do you do if you need to vomit? It's something that I've seen discussed on a few boaters forums, and a few people are of the opinion that you can just do it into a bucket and throw it out into the canal. Apparently ducks really have a taste for human vomit. I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I don't think I've ever vomited actually on my boat. But what I think I would do is probably try and do it in a bag and then throw it in the bin. And that's another thing, you might not be close to a bin. Hands down, the worst thing about living on your own is when you get sick, because a lot of the things that you take for granted, you can't do them anymore, or they become very difficult. So if you've got some good friends that you can rely on who might be able to go out and pick you up some medicine or some food, that'd be really handy. But obviously it's always a good idea to keep fully stocked first aid kit and some basic medication. I'd highly recommend keeping some emergency food. I think tinned foods are the best, or dry foods that have got a really long shelf life, because if you can't move your boat you might not be able to top up your batteries from the solar or from running the engine, so you can't necessarily rely on having a fridge, or if you run out of gas you won't have anywhere to cook anything. And that's another thing, make sure you've got some emergency drinking water as well on the boat. And also another consideration to make is that a lot of medications need to be kept in the fridge, but many boaters don't have a fridge, or if you're not able to move you can't top up your power to run a fridge. So if you get a prescription for something which needs to be refrigerated, it might be worth asking if perhaps the doctor could prescribe something different, or thinking about other alternatives to make sure that you're always going to be able to keep it cool. As well, when you're unwell it's so important to keep really clean, so you might need to be showering more often than usual, but if your water's running really low and you can't get to a water point. Laundry as well could be a challenge, because if you're sweating quite a lot, getting snot or other nasty things on your bedclothes, you're going to want to change them more often than you normally would do. If you are really unwell and you're not able to move, then it's important to ring the CRT and explain it to them. From what I've heard, they're pretty reasonable and they will allow people to overstay if they've got a genuine reason, but obviously don't take the mickey with it, because you could ruin things for everybody else. And then what do you do if you're really unwell and it's not going away and you need to visit a doctor? In theory, registering for a GP when you don't have a fixed address should be very simple. The only reason that a GP surgery can refuse you treatment or refuse to register you is if their books are full. And unfortunately this is quite common, so you might have to shop around and find a GP surgery that has vacancies. However, I've heard a lot of stories from boaters and from people in the travelling community that they are turned away from GP surgeries even when they have got spaces. There are also a number of walk-in centres, minor injury units, and you can always call the NHS non-emergency number and they can find you an out-of-hours GP's appointment if you need one. So that's about all that I can think of when it comes to being under the weather on a boat. I hope I haven't grossed you out too much. I'm going to end the video here because I'm just about to go out for a cruise, and you're welcome to come back next time and join me. Okay, bye for now. And my engine has cut out again. I think the technical term is that it's